Hey, hello, Bowen. Hi, Teresa. How are you?
Good. How are
Good. How
you?
are you?
Well, thank you. So tell me, how excited are you for season three to finally premiere?
So
Very excited.
excited.
Well,
This was the labor of love.
Labor of Love, yes, I bet. And Teresa, overall, what can we expect this season?
We can expect more of the same kind of crazy shenanigans that the family's been up to, but also kind of getting to see a little bit more of Wally and Grandma and Edmund and their arcs. Obviously, of course, all surrounding Nora and her continued quest to figure out, who she is.
Great. And Bowen, yeah, what can we expect specifically from your character, Edmund, and how has he evolved?
Well, I feel like he's evolved in terms of attaining what he's wanted for the past two seasons, at least, which is some career and status
Mhm.
um, fulfillment. And he starts out the season, pretty high up in that regard. But then you find out pretty quickly that, he's kind of still coping or not coping with certain things, probably not the healthiest ways. And then he enlists in Nora's help to kind of try to trace back his lineage to really far flung places. And then by the end of the season, I think he really with Nora's help, with Wally's help, with Grandma's help, with everybody around him, with the support system around him that he didn't realize was there all along, he kind of ends up in a pretty good place in the end. So I think that's quite nice.
Oh, good, good. Well, what was it about this show that appealed to you? Why did you want to be involved with this series initially?
Me?
Yeah, Bowen.
Oh my gosh. Well, I was a huge fan of Awkwafina, Nora's is like Nora, as I call her now. And just a big fan of Lucia. I had worked with Lucia Agnello, who was one of the EPs on the show. She directed the pilot. Um, and just thought it was going to be a pretty great project no matter what. And I really couldn't believe that I had gotten it. I just wanted to be involved from go, and auditioning for it was sort of like I kind of hung a lot of hope on it, and thank goodness because yeah, it all worked out in such a lovely way.
Yeah, for sure. And Teresa, as one of the creators of the show, how did it initially come to fruition?
Yeah, Nora and I met through a tale as old as time. Our agents set us up, where we just kind of immediately hit it off. And I think to real credit to her was that she wanted to find someone who could write in her voice and basically, to trust someone with your life story and to put it on screen is definitely something that's really hard. And just getting to know her through this process has been like such a joy. She's so funny. She's so generous with her time and her spirit, and obviously with her entire family story. And just like to be vulnerable in the sense of like, hey, here's my dad and my grandma who are both, still people in this world, and to be like, hey, we're, allowing you to go out and like make fun of me and them is so great.
Yeah, yeah, I bet. And Awkwafina makes her directorial debut with this season. How was it seeing her behind the camera and take direction from her?
Well, taking direction from her was, I mean, it was just so wonderful. And I mean, I was only in a handful of scenes in the pilot, or not in the pilot, in the first episode of the season that she directed. But even in that short time, I just got to see her truly like check every box, like in terms of like the dream director ideal that you have in your mind as an actor. So
Mm,
collaborative, so flexible, willing to change things, logically have such a clear straight line through the scene. And I thought she did a fantastic job.
yeah,
Yeah, it's so amazing just to see her be able to flex like this other muscle that you're like, oh, obviously doing two seasons of the show and just seeing how, the behind the scenes elements of directing. I think she really took that and ran with it in all the great ways. And so it was really nice to see her get to do that, and for that episode to turn out as well as it did.
for sure. And of course, you're all creating a show that's funny, but how would you say it's relatable to today's times?
I think we're all kind of going through it. Everyone's got something, and it's like Bowen said, like no matter how Edmund might appear outwardly successful, like everyone's going through something. Like whether or not it gets to the extent of like some of our characters going through some like really crazy things. But I think that that's the thing that, like to have empathy for people, just, like this show, obviously it's a comedy, it's wacky, it's silly, you have, imaginary monsters appearing and you time travel, but you also have, you have these kind of like, we have a K-drama sequence. But even with all of that, I think the ending point of the show is like everyone's human, everyone is just trying to like figure it out, and it's okay to be struggling. It's okay that like, people that you're seeing that are supposedly more successful than you, like they're also going through some stuff. So I think that's what that's, besides all the funny stuff, of course, is just like really just being able to show like a slice of life.
For sure. Bowen would like to add to that.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of blending all of these, familiar things about entertainment, our favorite kind of movies and TV shows, and it kind of all puts it in one package. I mean, it's a family sitcom, it's a stoner comedy. It is it incorporates some queer things, it incorporates some Asian things. It all sort of gets put in this wonderful braid where you kind of take all these threads and put them together. And so I feel like there is an entry point for any person to come into it with.
Yeah, for sure. And lastly, is there anything in particular you hope audiences take away from the show?
I hope, people watch it and just have like a good time with their friends or their family or whoever they watch it with and just laugh. Because I think that that's just something like, so
Mm,
there is so much TV out there and it's all so great. And I think for our show in particular, it's like we just want to make people laugh and to make people feel
Yeah.
good. And hopefully that's, successful.
for sure. Bowen?
Yeah, I mean, I think to put it all in a bow, like I think this season is about realizing that the place you're at is the place you're meant to be and the place you should be, and that you shouldn't push too hard to like launch yourself into like another stage in life if things are pretty good where you are. And I feel like that's Nora's journey, that's Edmund's journey, and I feel like that's another like meta takeaway if you want. If you're watching the show and going, "Oh, I'm having a good time," then that there's value in that and just enjoying this silly sitcom that we made for you.
Definitely. Thank you. Well, before I get off the call, may I take a screenshot for social media?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Bowen, Teresa, thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure.
Thank
Thanks, Denny.
you.
Have a good day.
Okay, bye-bye.